Yo, what's good, everybody? It's your boy 005 Dynasty. I'm back with another video, and we're going to continue and carry on with talking about the copy and clone generation coined by 005 Dynasty, Jamel Marshall Pearson. You already know, son. And we're going to talk about these devices. We're going to talk about gear, MPC, and all that stuff, right? Everything that makes sounds, right? So, depends, right? When you depend on something, right, or somebody, you become emotionally involved and attached to it. And that's what I don't think people are understanding about my talking points. I don't think they get what I'm saying. So I'll give you an example. Let's just say you're a regular person and you don't really have anything going for yourself. And then one day somebody does something that sparks something in you to be like, oh, that's really, really cool. And then somehow, some way, you start learning how to do that one thing. Maybe it's music production, right? And the way that you learn is by sampling off of records, right? Let's just say that's it, right? And now that becomes your way of creating music. Do you understand now, guys? And since that now becomes your way of creating music, you are now depending on that style for your workflow to create your music. And now you become fully invested into this way of life now. This is your new way of life. This is like your new niche. This is like your new, a hobby. This is like, like maybe even your new job, whatever. But this is what you do. And this is how you do it, right? So I'm parking, guys. Still mad snow out here in New York. So make sure we get this car correct. All right. So if that's what you do, that's your way, then you become dependent. You depend on that way, because if you really put it into perspective, that's the only way. These new cars is crazy. That's the only way you know how to do what you do, is that way. So now you're depending on that way. So it's kind of crazy that how we depend on a certain style to get to a certain point. You depend on sampling off a record player. You depend on sampling off the internet. You depend on downloading sample packs. Like, you depend on this stuff. You search up free drum packs. You know what I'm saying? Or you go buy some drum packs. But you depend on somebody else giving you this created way of doing something. Maybe the sound has already been created for you, turned into a digital medium, and then now it's being sold or shared, and or somebody showed you how to make beats in a certain way, produce in a certain way, and now you depend on that every single time you set out on a journey to achieve something great in music. You depend on that style, that workflow, the knowledge that you have of it, right? You depend on it. That's basically what it is. You have, and most of you guys and girls go through your career with limited experience on elevating. I'll put it like that. Once you figure out that one way and it becomes very, very successful, you stay with that. You stick with that. You don't really try to elevate. That's why most people, they fall under, oh, I'm a trap producer, or I'm a boom bap producer, or I'm a drill producer, or I'm a dub producer, or I'm a dubstep producer, or I'm a reggae producer. Because they get so comfortable in their system, and everybody that's around them, they cheer them on because they're doing the same thing. That's the reason why a person like me would seem like a hater, or a person on the outside trying to downplay people, whereas I'm trying to get you to open up your mind to excel past just being in that one niche. Everybody else is so happy being comfortable, and they depend on each other, and they depend on this style, this workflow, this sound, and they're not elevating. So that's what people don't think outside the box. People don't think like, let me create my own genre. I literally don't hear people saying that. I think I'm the only one who heard somebody saying it, and it was myself saying it to myself. Like, I want to create my own genre. You know what I'm saying? Like, I haven't heard anybody say that. You know what I'm saying? You don't really see, you see people literally when they do their videos online. You know, I'm not worried about the people online, but every video online, they're all doing the same thing. They're doing finger drumming. You already know how I feel about that. What does that have to do with making a hit record? A timeless classical piece of music. That's just content, and then everybody's spending their time over there focused on that. And now you got more people who's going to try to do finger drumming instead of worrying about making hit records. That's why music is dying, because you're doing stuff with sound that literally is just like doesn't even make any sense, man. That's like playing knick-knack, paddywhack, give you a bone, like, you know what I'm saying? Like just doing random stuff like in life, trying to make content for YouTube monetization money. And that's what I'm trying to say, guys. They're bringing down the musical producer, but by doing all these weird videos online, they're not really showing you what a real musical producer is. That's because they don't even know themselves. And on top of that, they holding everybody's attention. That's the problem. Instead of telling people, go out and create. Oh, I'm gonna show you how to work in a real musical studio setting. I got this famous triple platinum or maybe a diamond artist coming to the studio today. I'm gonna show you how you work with her or work with him. We'll show you like the vocal takes and all that stuff, and really show it. And now you got a lot of people online, from what I hear, I don't know, I haven't been watching, saying like, oh, nobody wants to sit there and watch a video for that long. You want to keep people's attention. If somebody online is telling you you need to keep people's attention, they're not a real musical producer. They are a content creator influencer who's trying to keep you on their channel watching a video as long as possible so all those advertisements can roll so they can make money off of claiming to be a musical producer. Even if they was a musical producer in the past, they're not one now. So you understand what I'm saying, guys? Pay attention to peep game. You guys will watch my videos and you will criticize and critique me. You watch the content creators' videos and you don't criticize and critique them. You love them because they're making you feel happy, because they're making you feel comfortable in the state that you're in, because it's the dependable state. Like you're depending on them to reassure that it's okay to still do what you do. It's okay to still sample, guys. It's okay to still do trap drill. It's okay to feel, come over here with us. Come with us. Yeah, that guy's a hater. We're the people. Meanwhile, the person that they're trying to say that about is trying to get you to unlock your brain and expand and become better. And a lot of people are afraid of that, guys. They're afraid. They're afraid to do that. They're afraid to unlock their mind. You want to know how? You want to know why I know? It's because it's hard. My entire days are like literally invested in my philosophy, my quote, my coin terminology for a generation. Copy and clone generation, right? Ghost Wav, which is my genre of music. 005 Dynasty, which is the overall embodiment of everything that I do. It's the company, you know what I'm saying? And all the other you know what I'm saying, fall under it. That's a lot to take in. That's a lot to do, a lot to handle. And people don't want to do that. They want to pull out their MPC XL, MPC Live 3, MPC Mark II. They want to pull out their MPC keys, this, MPC 37, whatever, MPC beats. Then they want to get native instrument stuff, machine. They want to get SP44, rolling stuff, like all those things. They want to get all these devices and they want to sit it in front of them. They want to do the exact same thing that the next producer did before them. Then when they finish with the beat and they bop in their head like this is the best thing ever, but really it literally sounds like 30 million other producers, but they thinking they're being original, okay? And now they want to run to the YouTube channels and make them feel comfortable. They depend on being comfortable in their own skin. So that's how I know that it really takes a special person to break free like me and do what I'm doing. It's kind of crazy, guys and girls. So I know you guys are very, very dependable on you depend on so many levels. You depend on staying light, staying relevant, staying inside a group, being very, very social, being able to connect, being able to share your music and have people who make the same exact music like you. It sounds like yours, cheer you on, so you don't get no pushback, you don't get no dislike, you don't get the people saying, oh, no, because they want you to do the same thing for them. That's being stuck, guys. You guys are stuck in a loop, and you're depending on this loop to stay relevant, stay happy, stay loved, stay warm, stay comfortable. All of these things. That's what your intent is. That is what your intent. My intent is to break the system, break out of it, come busting out and see all of the inner mechanics and machinery that's moving inside of this machine, and see how it's controlling everybody, and then break free myself, and then try to help other people break free, similar to the Matrix. Crazy, right? But anyway, I'll make this one a little short. I'll be doing like 20-minute videos. I'll make this one a little shorter. So this is your boy Old Fried Dynasty, man. Don't forget to Google me. Just remember, I coined copy and clone generation. That's this generation. Started around like 2012-ish, but it really kicked in like 2014, and it's still going on right now. And Ghost Wave music is going to be the genre that breaks us out of it, man. I'm telling you. Because when people get wind of how to do Ghost Wave, when I fully teach you guys, you're going to see like how the very first instrument that you purchase has to be a great sounding instrument. Because Ghost Wave is original. It's not sample-based music production. You're going to use samples that come from your keyboard workstation that was recorded as tone-based. So I don't know how to build a sound engine. But the miracle that Roland and all these other companies do when they build sound engines, they take those tones and they do coding so it fits in the keyboard workstation, and you can have multiple banks. Instead of just going out and buying a grand piano and trying to put it in your house, you can have the grand piano in this with the tones sound amazing, supernatural sounds in your house, but in banks. You got pianos, you got harps, you got strings, you got all this stuff. That's how Ghost Wave starts out, using those type of sounds. Then from there, if we want, we could go out the back of the keyboards and go into analog circuitry, analog machines, analog gear, outboard gear that's going to enhance the color, characteristic, flavor of that sound to get it a little more bottom end, like bass, or a little more mid-tones, get it more enriched in the mid-tones, or maybe give it a little bit more highs and still have the analog circuitry roll off so the transients don't hit too hard. You know what I'm saying? Like analog compressors, analog preamps. So I have an analog EQ, I have an analog preamp, I have an analog compressor, and I also have the analog heat. And those is what I tend to use on the, with the sound coming out the back of the Roland keyboard, using the TRS cables, which only carry an analog signal, coming out of that, going into the preamp, and vice versa. I could do either the EQ first, then the preamp, but technically I usually do the preamp first, so I could get those transistors working. I want those transistors working inside of that preamp, doing what they do, getting that sounding nice, right? And then it has an EQ on the preamp. But then I also have another analog preamp I could put right after that could boost the signal even more and really get it's a parametric analog EQ, so I could get in there a little bit more surgical with that EQ compared to the preamp EQ. If you get what I'm saying, guys, preamp EQ does what it does, then I can get in there a little bit more surgical with the extra analog EQ. Then from there, I can compress it all together with my analog compressor, which is a musical compressor. So it's not one that really slams onto the sound. It allows the sound to breathe, but adds body to it. It compresses, right? Brings the louder sound down with the softer sound up. It compresses. You get what compressor does, right? And then from there, I can add a saturator, a distortion saturator in the analog heat, and now save that into the MPC, and the MPC is going to get that full body warmth and character, color, like the timbre of the sound is going to save now as a digital form, and it's locked. That's it. You there's no more changing that sound. That's it. Now you can add to the sound. Meaning now when I want to add effects, I don't use the effects that are inside the MPC. I use my outboard gear effects. So I purchase specific reverbs, specific delay, you know what I'm saying, delays. And I do a lot of stacking too. That's part of Ghost Wave, to have the sound pan north and south, not east and west. I mean, there's east and west panning in there when it comes to the delays and things of that nature, and the way that I put the instrumentation. Piano might be over here, whatever, you know what I'm saying, whatever, harp over here. But panning north and south is that reverb. So it's a way that I do the reverb. Now, I will show you guys that will really have that sound sounding angelic, like it's in a movie, but it sits back and it's calm and it floats, it flows. You know what I'm saying? So that's why it's called cinematic, and it's air hop, a sound that floats, it flows, goes up and down, up and down, up and down. It moves, it has movement to it. So that digital sound will now go back out the MPC, which will turn from digital into analog, go through my effects units, reverb, delays, all that stuff, and then come right back into the MPC. I'll resample it back into the MPC, and now that's going to imprint the effects onto that sound. And it's a cool thing. I can actually send the sound out and just record the effects coming in. So I don't even have to record the effects stamped onto or imprinted onto that digital sound that came from the very first instance when I sent it out the rolling keyboard into the preamp, into the EQ, into the compressor, into the analog heat, and all those things are analog, right? Into the MPC. So I can still have that digital sound that sounds crazy, and I can have it whereas it doesn't have the effects printed on it. So now it comes to mixing. Now it comes to the mixing stage, mixing and getting that sound to do what it do pivot chords. So that Ghost Wave does pivot chords into modulating. So we pivot and we modulate into the next key signature. That's how we make the sound float like a ghost. That's how the sound is floating like a ghost. So every 4 to 8 bars, there's a change in the song that elevates it or brings it back down. Elevates it, brings it back down, like how a ghost will flow. That's why Ghost Wave, there's so much philosophy behind the genre, the musical genre Ghost Wave, that is crazy. I literally came up with this by myself, man. Taking the best of 2 different genres, but then adding my philosophy to music production, and now I created Ghost Wave. Created by 005 Dynasty, Jamel, Marshall, Pearson. That's craziness to me. You know what I'm saying? And don't forget, you gotta, and when you're doing all this, it's gain stages. You gotta worry about your gain stages. You gotta worry about mixing. Like, you gotta worry about levels, transients, too much transients pop. You gotta sit there and work with the gear. You gotta learn your stuff. Now, that's one thing that might scare people is that Ghost Wave, even though people are excited about it right now, it's not easy. It's like literally learning how to walk again in music production. If you've been doing sampling all this time, man, you know what I'm saying? Like, you are literally going to have to, like, it's like putting on the training wheels again. In music production, you probably been doing music for 30 years, but you've been doing the same thing, being dependent, like you're depending on this one way of doing something. And now something comes out, you're like, oh my God, that's crazy. It's too much work. It's a lot. So anyway, this your boy 005 Dynasty. I was supposed to get off like 8 minutes ago, man, but I just started talking. Don't forget to drop a comment. Don't forget to Google me. Don't forget to head over to medium.com and check out the articles. I'm doing a lot of articles, guys. Don't forget to drop me a comment. And this your boy 005 Dynasty. Don't forget to Google me. And I'm out.